Happy Columbus Day. It is a pleasure. We're not going to march today on this Columbus Day, but there's a silver lining. In the rain, we couldn't really march, and we couldn't hug, and we couldn't shake hands, given what's going on with COVID, but we have a great achievement here today. Last year, on this very day, we announced that we would build a statue to Mother Cabrini. There was no doubt that she deserved it, that Mother Cabrini had not received the proper recognition that she deserved, and that New Yorkers wanted to memorialize her. And we did it in 1 year. We formed a commission, found the location, identified the funding, and the sculptors brought it to life and did a magnificent, magnificent job. There is something to be said for the doing at this time. It's good to remember that we can still accomplish great things, and New York can make it happen. And that's what we did. Let's give yourselves a round of applause. I want to congratulate all of those who made it possible, all the members of the Mother Cabrini Memorial Commission, to our co-chairs of the commission, the chairman of the Columbus celebration for 2020, Angelo Vivolo. Angelo is a true champion, tireless fighter against discrimination. We all owe him a big round of applause. Let's do that. To the co-chairman of the commission, our good friend, Bishop DiMarzio, pleasure to be with you, Bishop. Thank you very much. We have our great commissioner of the Office of General Services who made it all happen, Roanne DeStito. To the chairman of Battery Park City Authority who found this magnificent site right on the shore of the Hudson with a view of the Statue of Liberty and a view of Ellis Island and a view of Mother Cabrini's home borough of Brooklyn. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And to the sculptors, Jill and Giancarlo Biaggi and their team, what a magnificent, magnificent job. We're so proud. I would submit to you today that the Lord works in strange ways. The celebration of Mother Cabrini is even more appropriate than when we announced it last year. Today, the lesson of Mother Cabrini is even more vital because of the difficulties that we are facing. We all know these are challenging times, but as we also know, in the book of life, it is not what one does when the sun is shining that tests our mettle. It's what one does in the fury of the storm. And that's where we are today. The pressure, the stress, the difficulty reveal the true character of people and of society. We see it today. COVID has stressed each of us and all of us, and it has revealed strengths and weaknesses. Under pressure, small cracks explode. But also under pressure, that's when diamonds are formed. Saints are often forged in the crucible of adversity. Mother Cabrini was tested by seemingly insurmountable challenges. She was trying to help new immigrants who had no skills, no money, and couldn't even speak the language. She came to New York at the time of smallpox, typhoid, and tuberculosis, all deadly diseases for which there was no cure, and there was little health care, and there was stifling poverty. And she was in a new country, a woman, a nun, and it was 1889. Women were not empowered. The traditional role of the nun was to serve the priests. And on top of it all, Italians were victims of intense discrimination. Mother Cabrini was sent here by Pope Leo XIII to help deal with the Italian problem, as he called it. The Italian problem was rampant discrimination against the Italians. In 1891, In New Orleans, 11 Italians were lynched after they were found innocent at trial. The day after the New Orleans trial, the New York Times wrote, and I quote, "These sneaking and cowardly Sicilians, the descendants of bandits and assassins, who have transported to this country the lawless passions, are to us as a pest without mitigation." In this maelstrom that Mother Cabrini confronted, she was 38 years old, and she was sent here with just 6 other missionaries, and she was frail. But despite it all, Mother Cabrini challenged the norm, she broke the mold, and she achieved great things. She overcame. Mother Cabrini said, and I quote, "The world is poisoned with erroneous theories and needs to be taught sane doctrines. But it is difficult to strengthen what has become crooked." So true. She founded a remarkable 67 schools, hospitals, and orphanages, an entire hospital education and social service system for the poor. And she did it virtually alone. She founded the Columbus Hospital for the Poor, which was eventually named the Cabrini Medical Center in Manhattan, open to all, regardless of whether or not they could pay. It remained operational for a century and only closed in 2008. Mother Cabrini had 2 assets, but they were powerful assets. Mother Cabrini had her culture and her faith. As an Italian growing up in a small town near Milan, she had the Italian heritage of generosity, family, community, courage, and the power of love. Mother Cabrini said, "If you knew how much I love you, you'd cry out of joy." And she had her faith. At her canonization in 1946, Pope Pius XII said, "Although her constitution was very frail, her spirit was endowed with such singular strength that, knowing the will of God, she permitted nothing to impede her from accomplishing what seemed beyond the strength of a woman." Today, my friends, we face significant challenges, but we still hold dear to our culture and to our faith. Let us heed the words of Pope Francis, who said in his latest encyclical, and I quote, "The COVID-19 pandemic momentarily revived the sense that we are a global community, all in the same boat, where one person's problems are the problems of all. Once more, we realize that no one is saved alone. We can only be saved together." At this time of COVID, let us hear our better angels. Let us rise above parochialism and partisanship. Let us realize that to save each other, we must save all of us. We are all interconnected at the end of the day. If your neighbor succumbs to the disease, then you and your family are in danger. Pope Francis said, "If we do not take care of one another, we cannot heal the world." Today is Columbus Day, so we celebrate the Italian legacy, as beautiful as it is. But the same fundamental teaching that Pope Francis speaks about is the same teaching in the Torah, the Quran, Buddhism, and Hinduism. We are our brothers and sisters' keeper. Look at the irony. The only way to stop the spread of the disease, what we now call community spread, is to actually form community, to actually care about one another and to reach out and help one another. In this complex world, may this statue serve to remind us of the principles that made us great as a country and as a people, and the principles that keep us special on this globe. The values of Mother Cabrini: compassion, acceptance, community, freedom, faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. Let's unveil this beautiful statue. Happy Columbus Day.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mother Cabrini Memorial artists Jill Biaggi and Giancarlo Biaggi.
Giancarlo and I would like to thank you, Governor, for your commitment to making this statue a reality. And thank you to the Commission and Angelo. I also want to thank our team, architect Martin Sanluski and lighting designer Ken Farley. It was our honor to design a monument to this compassionate, heroic woman. Our goal was to create a statue that would represent the persevering spirit of an extraordinary woman in realizing her childhood dream, the dream of helping people in need around the world. As a young girl, Francesca Cabrini made paper boats, filled them with violets, and placed them in the current outside her home. She called them her missionaries and sent them into the world. In our statue, we depict Mother Cabrini with two children sailing to the world on her paper boat. The girl is a reflection of Francesca when she was young, holding a book in one hand, symbolizing her commitment to education, while her other hand holds firmly onto the boat, signifying her steadfastness in the face of adversities. The boy grips his luggage ready to face what the future will bring and holds in the other hand an ocarina, a wind instrument, invented in Italy, representing the culture immigrants have brought to America. Around the base is a bas-relief depicting the story of Mother Cabrini's life and her charitable works.
Also, the mosaic on the plaza is made of riverbed stones from Cabrini birthplace. And we thank Suor Maria Barbagallo for her enthusiastic project to make this possible. We hope the monument brings joy and a moment of contemplation on humanitarian values and inspiration to visitors from New York and around the world. Thank you.
Thank you for attending today's event. That concludes our program.